Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jonathan Bodine with Hello America. How y'all doing today? I'm doing a video today on a situation we've had with a man here in my great state of Alabama. He was convicted of a sex abuse. All right, sexual abuse. All right. Leon Price is the guy's name. All right. So uh, uh, bond was raised for former Alabama Sunday school teacher accused again, I get that again, of child sex abuse decades after first conviction. So he'd already been convicted of some child abuse, you know, and so he gets out, you know, and he does it again, you know. This guy, a Sunday school teacher. I mean, a Sunday school teacher, people. I mean, we got to do better than this. See, it's people like this guy right here that gives Christians a bad name. An Elmore County judge on Tuesday raised the bond for a former Sunday school teacher convicted of raping a 7-year-old girl. 7-year-old, man, in 1972, who was recently arrested again amid new child sex abuse allegations. You know, it's horrible, man. You know, these people, you know, they hide in our churches and things and like that, and they do these terrible things to these children. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're gonna hurt a child, then you're definitely not a Christian. First of all, you know what I'm saying. Two, you're not even human. Okay, not even human. You know, every day you're hearing about how they've started. You know, you hear people talking about, well, you know, they have that's just a preference. It's their sexual preference. What? Sexual preference? These people are insane. These people are crazy. These people are evil. I don't care. There is no way, you know, that we're gonna go from, you know, molesting children to thinking of these people as rational thinking people. They're not rational thinking people. Anyone who looks at a little child and sees them as a sexual object is a perverse, nasty individual. And to hide as a Sunday school teacher is even worse. They should have never let him out the first time for him to go and commit other crimes. But these people are crazy. So this Leon Albert Prince, a 77-year-old Deatsville man who in 2020 unsuccessfully sought a pardon from the Alabama Board of Pardons and Paroles, was indicted by an Elmore County grand jury on January 7th on one count of sex abuse of a child under the age of 12. Terrible. I mean, terrible. You know? Circuit Judge Bill Lewis set Price's bond at $300,000 and issued a gag order in the case. Prince was booked back into the Elmore County Jail at 9:50 a.m. Elmore County Chief Assistant District Attorney C.J. Robinson previously said the indictment stemmed from an incident that happened sometime in 2010 or 2011. The victim delayed reporting the abuse until recently. Prince was booked into Elmore County Jail on January 24th and released the same day after posting a $40,000 bond. Now look, let's see, that's a problem for me, okay? This man is a known sicko, you know, a known pervert. I mean, he's doing these terrible things to children, hurting children. You hurt a child, you do something to a child, it sticks with them forever. It don't just go away. You know, it's there forever. It's gonna mess with them forever. You know, there's things I never had anything like that happen to me, but there's things in my life, just watching my parents fight, or any little thing, anything like that, traumatic things that happen when you're a child are intensified. You know, so for someone to do that to a child is just, to me, it's unfathomable, because they're never going to forget it. You know what I mean? I mean, some children might block it out, but it's gonna come seeping through in some other way. You know, they're gonna have some kind of anxiety issues or some kind of mental issues due to these things, man. You know, they don't go away. And like I said, for people to hide in the church, to me, it's just, I mean, it's just unbelievable what these people will do. So he served a 15-year sentence, or well, he actually served 15 years of a 30-year sentence for this sexual abuse on Allison Black Cornelius, the executive director of the Greater Birmingham Humane Society, who has long been outspoken about the horrendous crimes committed against her. So, okay, so now she's gotten herself together. She's become the executive director of the Greater Birmingham Humane Society, and she knows what she's been through. You know what I mean? So she's trying to do something about it, to try to help other people. You know, look, you know, when somebody who better to do to be this kind of person, to do this job, than someone who has lived it themselves. You know, I mean, wonderful. You know, we need more people like her. You know, so you know. But it was national attention surrounding Prince's trial that brought out dozens of victims, both boys and girls, who told of similar abuse by Prince. Okay, so he done this to multiple children. Okay, and I'm sure that the multiple children that he did it to was while he was, you know, a Sunday school teacher in a church. You know, Cornelius, however, was the only one to take him to court. Cornelius has made it her life's work to advocate on behalf of victims of crimes, including those victimized by Prince. You know, I've noticed here lately, a lot of YouTubers, they won't even say, you know, sex crime or sex abuse, and you know, I don't know, man. Maybe they won't even put my video up, but it's like this, man. If it's an evil act for someone to hurt a child, and I mean, to me, I think we should all be talking about this, and I think that we should be putting it out there, you know, as it is, not bleeping out words and taking out words, because it is what it is. we're all adults here. We're not children. We're not, you know what I'm saying? I mean, my channel is definitely not for children. You know, I made that for, I made sure that it was known that my channel is not for children. So I'm not saying anything that we as adults can't handle. You know what I'm saying? If it triggers somebody, look, I'm sorry, but this is a for real thing. This guy, Cornelius, she has said in previous interviews that he headed the bus ministry at Tarrant First Baptist Church and told her if she did not do what he wanted her to do, and if she told anyone what he was doing at the time, he would kill her dog. I mean, how traumatic would that be to a child? How traumatic would that be to a child? I mean, really. I mean, come on, man. I mean, come on. And what was this? I mean, I'm sorry. I don't call anybody out, Tarrant, but I mean, it's already in the news. Tarrant First Baptist Church. Okay? You got to screen your Sunday school teachers. You know what I'm saying? I know, that it was a long time ago, and I don't even know if this church is still even there. But if it is, I pray to the Heavenly Father that they screen their Sunday school teachers a heck of a lot better, And like I said, there's no true Christian alive that could ever do something like that. There's just no way. A true Christian could not and would not ever hurt a child. Someone can claim they're Christian, and they might, but no true Christian would do that. No way would that happen. So it was 20 years later before Cornelius could no longer bear the thought that he could be harming other children, that she came forward, and it became a landmark case that made national headlines when she testified against Prince in a Jefferson County court. Prince was convicted, sentenced to 30 years, and served only 15 years, leaving prison in November 6th. Now, 15 years. He serves 15 years. Now, this is something that she and all the other children are going to have to deal with their entire lives in here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a touchy subject, but these kind of things that lead to suicide and to other acts of violence, rage, depression, all kinds of ugly. When you hurt a child, you scar them, and the more that you hurt them, the more scars they get, and that never leaves. And for somebody like that who hurt multiple people, now I get it that only one person testified against him, but they knew that there was others. They knew there were others, and he should have never been let out in 15 years. He should have served the whole 30 years, because that's my opinion. That's my opinion. But, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. But, tell me if I'm wrong, but, children, when you're messing with children, it's just, it baffles me how anybody could ever hurt a child in that way, So Prince had been convicted of carnal knowledge of a child which was not explicitly listed as a crime under the Community Notification Act. Whatever, Cornelius and lawmakers fought that and won, and in 2008 a state administrative law judge said a state law that requires neighbors to be notified about a sex offender living nearby applied Prince. He is now registered as a sex offender and living in Deatsville. Leading up to Tuesday's hearing, which has been previously delayed because Prince had COVID, Cornelius was fighting for a higher bond for Prince in his new case. Prosecutors had asked for a $500,000 bond instead of the initial $40,000 bond. This defendant is a serious danger to the community, wrote Assistant District Attorney Amanda Johnson. He has previously been convicted of sexually abusing a child and served time in the Alabama Department of Corrections. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But what more I'm going to talk about is that it's absolutely he should spend more time. He should have a higher bond. He shouldn't even have a bond. You hurt children, especially multiple children. There should be no bond. You should have no second chance. They give him a second chance. He does it again. This man is sick. This man is sick. He is perverse, and he does not need to see another day outside some bars. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it is. You know, I pray for his soul. I pray to God that he, when he gets into prison, which I believe that he needs to be and he needs to stay, that he turns his life to Jesus Christ truly, instead of just pretendingly, you know, actually really turns his life over to Jesus Christ and truly becomes a Christian, and that way, you know, and I hope he gets forgiven of his sins. But I pray more for the children that he hurt. I pray for that they can find peace in their heart through Jesus Christ themselves, to where they don't have to hurt, you know, because like I said, any little scar when you're a child, it lasts forever. Everybody knows when you're a child, it's just like building a house. The foundation comes first, you know. That's your foundation for life. Your childhood is your foundation for life. And when it's like, okay, you start building a house and somebody takes and knocks, you know, half of your, or even a quarter of your foundation down on one side, then it's going to, eventually the house is going to start sagging, and then it's going to tear apart. It's going to start leaking, rotting. It's done. That is why it is detrimental that people like this that could hurt a child needs to be taken off the streets as quickly as possible. And anybody who is working in school, in a church for children, Sunday school, anybody that's working with children should be screened. I'm talking more than any other job. If you're going to be working with children, you need to be screened more than anybody that does any other job. And that's it. So I'm gonna say, I saw this, and to see someone who masqueraded as a Sunday school teacher to get close to children, it just really burned me up, you know. And for him to hurt a child, I mean, just unbelievable, man, unbelievable. So please, you know, and parents, you know, if you have children, make sure that each day, if you have young children, each day, you know, you be sure that you tell, you know, your children that you are going to protect them. Just like this guy says, well, I'll kill your dog if you tell anybody, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. You let them know, you know, if there's anybody that's harming you or doing you any harm, I'm your father or I'm your mother, and I will not let anybody hurt any hair on anything of yours, but you have to tell me first. Parents, make sure you tell your children that they can tell you anything. You got to build that relationship with your child. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to have children, make sure you build a relationship with your child that they feel comfortable being able to talk to you about anything. I raised 3 daughters, and, you know, I always try, you know, I did my best to make sure that they knew that they could come to Daddy anytime about anything, you know. And I'm telling you, sometimes it's hard to hear some things that my children say, you know, throughout the years, you know, because they're older now, they're not little, you know. But you know, some of the things that the teenagers will tell you will just blow your mind, you know what I mean? But you got to take it, because you have to be their ally, not just, you know, yeah, you have to discipline, you have to do those things, but you also have to be their strongest ally. They have to know that dad or mom's not just going to beat their ass or ground them for a year if they do something wrong, but they are going to be punished, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel no matter what they do. You know what I'm saying? You got to reward. It's just like with a pet, you know, which, I mean, it's far more delicate than a pet, but I'm just using this as an example. Like with a pet, if they do something wrong, you spank them, but after you spank them, you pet them, you let them know they're still a good boy or girl, whatever, and you give them a treat or whatever. And then when they do something good, then you give them that treat. So you got to make sure, same thing with the kids. When they do good, you reward them. When they do bad, yeah, ground them. I believe in still spanking. Sometimes it's just a necessary thing. But reward them, and then let them know you love them. Let them know you love them every day. You tell them, I love you more than anything in this world. And that's all I got to say, you know. People, let's look after our children. People, let's give thanks to the Lord above. Give yourself to Jesus Christ. I love you guys. Subscribe to my channel. I'm Jathan Bodine, and I am out.